Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Toby.
My name is Heidi.
And now we are on episode 72 of our AMA questions sent to us by our Patreon members, our CT Club members. So if you want to check us out, the link is down below. You get our portfolio updates, our trade alerts. You can see exactly what we are getting into, what our thoughts are, the market updates, and all that other stuff.
And when we're going to take profits during this delicious bull run.
And you can also submit questions like this. So let's get into this. Okay.
So here's this question. Hi, Heidi and Toby. Thanks for all the tips and trade alerts. Those have helped me a lot with managing my portfolio. My question is about Solana. I got in relatively early, also on with your alerts, so I'm happy with the gains thus far. I think it's still a good project with a lot of potential, but since you guys are also positive about Solana and the upside potential, what is your opinion about the decentralization of their network? Specifically, since at this moment it is very expensive to run a validator node where very fast hardware is needed. Great question, and it's definitely something that should be a concern for anyone who's invested in Solana and is interested in the long-term existence of the blockchain.
It is the elephant in the room, essentially. I mean, it literally takes tens of millions of dollars to be one of the top validators.
Yeah, the top validators have huge amounts of Solana locked up, and that's essentially what allows you to qualify to receive rewards for staking, running a validator node on Solana. So it's in that way, it's very expensive and centralized. But also what you're talking about here is the actual hardware that's needed to support the really fast transactions that requires really fast hardware and probably high quality hardware to be able to run a node. And that in itself is also very centralizing and limiting. And ideally, you'd want to see a blockchain that is trying to facilitate as much decentralization as possible and to help as many people as possible come and contribute to the network so that it is more robust against any kind of whether it's a government or any kind of a central authority or entity that would want to come and take it over. You'd want to make it as difficult as possible, and decentralization is a great way to do that. But also keep in mind that the high expense that it takes to run a validator is also a barrier of entry for anyone who wants to also overtake the network. So there's two sides to this it is limiting for the general public, but it's also limiting to anyone who wants to take it over.
If you want to compare like the decentralization of this compared to the decentralization of Cardano, like a lot of people give Cardano a hard time. This is one of the strong points that Cardano has. It is much more decentralized. It's much cheaper to run a really good node, a very profitable node. My friend actually does it, and he doesn't have that much money, and he does it in his house, and it's super chill, and he doesn't have tens of millions of dollars. So this really opens up the door to a lot of different people that want to get involved with the project and can secure the network as well. So I really like that part. So that is one of the elephants in the room with Solana. I think that can be dangerous in the future. I do think that, since this ecosystem is constantly changing, I think that it will change, but we will see what happens. So, Solana has experienced growing pains, as every single network out there has. Okay, so just because Solana was down for 17 hours. Okay, well, you're gonna make fun of like Ethereum and Bitcoin. We're gonna get onto that on another time. There's a really good video that we're coming out with where we make note of that. So
subscribe, guys, with the bell notification. But yeah, it also it's a reality of life. Trade-offs have to happen. Either you're going to be concentrating on the high transaction fees of Ethereum or the really fast transactions and the cheap transactions of Solana. There are trade-offs with each of those. The reason why Ethereum is more expensive is maybe because it's more decentralized. The reason why Solana is so fast is because they require really specific hardware to run their blockchain to provide the fast transactions. But it's a little bit more centralized because of that. And it's the same for every single cryptocurrency that has ever existed. Trade-offs have existed. There isn't a perfect cryptocurrency that exists. So you're going to have to come to terms with that. A lot of people, I've been someone obviously who still highly, highly values decentralization because I want this space to live as fruitfully and as freely and as unregulated as possible. And decentralization is what causes that. But obviously, there's growing pains with people coming in and flooding, and there's high transaction fees, there's slow transaction times, and people are going to be drawn to the fast transactions, the cheap transactions, and
this is
what happens.
There's two worlds being built right now, if you don't know that right now. So there's one where people are going to want super fast, easy, everything easy, blah, blah, blah. They don't care about KYC. They don't care about AML. They're just going to do whatever it takes. There's the other people like us who care a little bit more. Heidi cares way more than actually me.
You'll get there, Toby.
I know, I will. But I do care about decentralization, but
yes,
also
absolutely.
I'm going to be dabbling in both because there are certain coins that
there's profits to be made.
Yeah, there are certain coins that I get into that are on centralized exchanges, and that's the only way to get to them.
Yeah.
And I'm here for a profit as well. So, I have to kind of dance with the devil a little bit. But,
yeah. And you use those profits to accumulate your positions that help you actually interact with Ethereum and the other decentralized exchanges and decentralized ways to interact with cryptocurrencies that do require transaction fees. And you can do that because of the profits you made cutting other corners. And that's life.
Exactly. So that's all we have today. Thank you for coming. If you like this, please like, subscribe, and please stay disobedient. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.